Hello again, Slashers, and welcome to part 2 of the Horror Icon Battle Royale. Thanks for coming back. I hope you enjoy, and let's jump right back into the episode. Alright, we got one of my favorites, Kayako Saiki from The Grudge,
Yeah.
versus...
I don't know how to spell her.
It's K-A-Y-K-O.
Okay. K.
Actually, I think I'm missing an A. It's K-A-Y-A-K-O.
All right. And who's she going up against?
Oh, this is hilarious. I love this game so much. So she's going against Jack Torrance from The Shining, who's already losing his fucking mind in that hotel. And basically, she also makes people lose their mind, sort of. So how is that going to work out for him?
Right. And I mean, The Grudge really is truly one of the scariest films ever.
I love The Grudge. And you're right, it still kind of creeps me out, but I think I just watched it so much when I was like super into it that it doesn't scare me as much, but it really does still creep me out.
Oh, and I mean, Buffy the Vampire Slayer was so good in it.
Yes, agree. I was about to say, what does that have to do with anything? But I'm like, oh, Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yeah, I know.
I just looked it up. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go for it.
No, you go ahead.
No, I just
No, you go ahead.
wanted to stay, if we're living in, pop culture world, she's always gonna be Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And the hottest one, I might add.
Agree. And also, but for me it's like she's always Daphne. Also. Apparently, according to this, after being set free from her confinement, Kayako can generally has no limitations on where she can go and no notable weaknesses because I'm pretty sure she always kills everybody. Well, maybe not everybody, but then they either go crazy or they just somehow get away from her. I don't think she's ever actually been beaten.
Yeah, and again, Jack was just homicidal maniac who went crazy for some reason. And why did he go crazy? Was it the hotel? I can't even remember.
I think there's a deeper meaning than that, and I'd
Well,
have to look.
It's Stephen King.
Yeah.
So there's always something supernatural going on.
Well, I mean, if anything, she's just going to fuel his insanity, and he's just going to end up the same way that he ends up, and she's just going to move on to the next victim. So,
right.
So I think we could agree that Kayako is going to take that.
I would like to see her against the ring, though. Sorry.
Yeah, well,
she might get Dracula, and now we've already established that she's no pushover.
Mm-hmm. I was about to say, did we take the ring off? But we did, and that's unfortunate because I would like to see that mashup, but they probably just end up being friends.
Right, and going shopping at the mall.
Yeah.
About all the people they killed.
Just like me. I mean, wait, hang on. Wait, I said that before you said that in my head, and then it came out after you said that.
It's like, want to go to Hot Topic? Sure.
My favorite place.
I need some more running makeup.
Apparently, according to this, Jack Torrance goes crazy primarily because of his pre-existing alcoholism, which makes him highly susceptible to the supernatural forces that inhabit the isolated Overlook Hotel.
Right.
So basically, he's an alcoholic, and there is supernatural stuff going on that just fuels it and makes him go
right.
crazy.
So if a supernatural force at a hotel made him go crazy, then
he's fucked.
She won't even have to like leave her bedroom.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, you're done. Even though I love Jack Nicholson, one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, love Jack Nicholson. Okay, so we got Kayako again.
Mm-hmm.
Kayako. I love her name. Kayako Saiki.
Mm-hmm. And what was her deal?
She was murdered. Her and her son were murdered by her abusive husband.
Okay, so
she's a pretty tragic character.
Right. And that's like her against Candyman is, that'll be an interesting one.
Yeah, it will be. And that's kind of how it would have been for the ring too, because they're both kind of fucked over. Very tragic. So it's her versus the red-faced demon from Insidious, and I don't even know if I should have a hat in this ring because you already know.
I know. Okay.
you already know. For anybody that doesn't know, because why would they? I love Insidious. It's probably my favorite horror movie, and I love the red-faced demon from Insidious. And actually, he's played by Joseph Bishara, who does the music too. Does the music for a lot of those movies. And I met him in Las Vegas when I went to Sick New World in 2022,
That's
I
great.
believe. And I just saw him in the crowd, and I was like, is that fucking Joseph Bishara? And I walked up to him, and I was super awkward, and I have a picture with him, and I love him. So I'm really biased. I know I said I love Kayako, and she holds a special place in my heart, but I fucking love the Insidious demon. So I'm just going to let Grim take it for a minute and just try to present a case.
Okay. Okay. She is actually an Unroyo. Unroyo. O-N.
Oh, God, I know what you're saying, and I don't think I can pronounce it.
Yeah. Any Asian listeners, please help us out with it. Onryo. Right?
I think it's pronounced Onryo, but I don't remember.
Right. So she's a ghost.
Mm-hmm.
And we've already established she can manifest anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
No noticeable weaknesses. So a ghost isn't a demon. It's stuck on the material plane in ethereal form. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And they can cause harm in the world of the living. It doesn't say anything about them being able to do anything against demons.
Mm-hmm.
So she's a supernatural force and stuck on the material plane, Earth, or the world, in ethereal form.
I mean, to
A
go against
demon,
my own boy. Go ahead.
right? Oh, and a demon is something that from one of the hell realms or whatever you want to
He's
call
from the astral realm.
the astral realm, who visits the material plane.
But he can't get out unless he has
A
sufficient.
host.
Well, not even just a host. Like he can kind of manifest if he has, like when the kid's in a coma, he can start sort of manifesting to sort of get closer and closer, and he can start to mess with stuff in the real world. But he does have to have a host before he can fully come into the real world.
So all she got to do is fuck up the host.
When he is able to get out, I don't know if because it's like, can she go into an astral world? Because according to Insidious, people that have died can go into the astral plane, and she's been murdered. So what if they fought there? Then what are the odds of that? But then if it's strictly going by, okay, we know that she can come into the real world and manifest and harm people there. We know that when he comes into the real world, he has to have a host, then she would probably win. If they were in the astral world, it's more complicated than that.
Right. Like, what does it say about him, the red-faced demon, in his like lore?
I mean, as far as like him being in the astral realm, he's a pretty bad bitch. People are
Right.
scared of him. Oh, and he traps, the kid's astral body there, keeps him chained up, and he's a
That's
pretty big boy over in the astral plane.
right. And does any of that power really carry over into the world? Like, I mean, she is just raw. Onro is just a vengeful spirit driven by revenge, hate, grief.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it's like believed to be capable of causing harm in the world of the living, injuring or killing enemies, or even causing natural disasters to exact revenge.
Mm-hmm.
So they're after revenge against. Well, they're extremely vengeful, ruthless, heartless, brutal, cruel, deranged, egotistical, selfish, bloodthirsty, and cold-hearted.
Jesus Christ, just describe my exes, my dude.
We hope they live forever.
Yay.
So, I mean, that's a toughie. If they're on the material plane, she don't require a host. Can materialize anywhere. Can get the beat feet out of there. Where he requires a physical form.
It's so evenly matched at this point because, okay, so you take Insidious, and the first Insidious, they bring in Elise, who is like looking around, and she's like, oh yeah, something's here. Well, she can see the demon up in the corner, even though nobody else can see it. Like, he can sort of start to affect things in the real world, and he can also be seen in the real world by people that have that sort of gift. But so I don't know how they would match up against each other. I really don't. I would say I'm more leaning towards Kayako.
Again, it's like, I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead. You're
Oh,
leaning
no, I
towards
was done. You go
Ayako.
ahead.
You're leaning towards Ayako, and I'm leaning towards, the demon. Like, if they were fighting in hell, she wouldn't stand a chance. He'd just chain her up.
But she's never even been beaten, so we don't even know what actually beats her. I mean, I guess, technically has it. Like, he's been beaten as far as not being able to get a host and then being confined to back to the astral plane, and he has to regain all that strength to even get close to having a host again.
Okay, I'm going
But
to, right. Let's see. Here's how to counter on, and that's in Dead by Daylight too.
I know, because she's based on Kayako.
Oh shit! So that's the only thing it says. Is Dead by Daylight or lore. It
Gotta love
doesn't
Dead by
really,
Daylight lore.
because the Reddit has absolutely no weaknesses listed or anything like that, or
Exactly.
how to beat it.
They both don't really have weaknesses.
So we'll say they're a draw, and they cannot exist in the same realm at the same time. How's
Well,
that?
hey, we have to pick one because it's going to come back down to them in the end if we don't.
How about we eliminate them both?
How about I don't want to do that. I'm trying to
Okay.
see if he has any known weaknesses
Yeah.
because I can't think of any. He brings pain and chaos to the world of the living by possessing a human body. There he is. Love him. Husbando.
Okay. Okay. This is funny.
Hit me.
Okay. It was like I looked it up, and it was like, I wonder if there's any way to destroy or contain Kayako where she would not be a danger to anyone and her curse would not spread to anyone. This is fucking hilarious. Hold on to your seat.
I'm holding.
It's like I gotta find it. I gotta scroll it. It's like using an unlicensed nuclear accelerator to lure her into a trap, and then empty said trap into electrical containment grid. You know what that's a reference to?
Sounds familiar.
Ghostbusters.
That's hilarious.
So Ghostbusters could beat her.
I mean, yeah, bring Ghostbusters out here. They could beat any of them. Probably not.
I don't know, man. You get hit with an unlicensed nuclear accelerator, it's gonna hurt.
I'm dying. Okay. Well, I quit. All right, we gotta pick one. We gotta get through the rest of these.
Okay.
We're
It's
running long.
okay, so in Insidious, how did they beat him in Insidious?
Well, they just went into the astral realm, got their asses kicked, but they managed to get the kid's soul back out into his body before the demon caught him, so he couldn't take over his body. Then he comes back, and they basically kind of do the same thing. So it's like this. First of all, I realize both of them make creepy ass sounds when they show up too. I just want to
Oh
point that
yeah.
out. And B or two or whatever I just said, they both necessarily can't be beaten. They can just be subdued until they decide to come back. So it's literally like a fucking
Stalemate.
perfect mashup stalemate. I don't know what to do about it.
Right, and it's like you can't beat curses and ghosts, is what they're saying, and he can't really be beat because you fuck him up in the material realm. He's just going back to the astral plane.
Yeah, well, the only thing I could think is if he could get her to the astral plane, excuse me, he could
Right,
probably trap her somehow,
right, because
like
he
he
is
did with the kid's
supernatural.
soul, because he has pretty big influence and pretty big, strength in the astral plane. If he could get her there, or if she could travel there, he could probably just trap her and she'd be miserable. But I mean, that would be technically beating her. So
True. So you want to go with red face?
let's go with the red faced demon. But I don't feel 100% confident about it, and I am sorry,
All right.
Kayako.
Well, that's okay. I just found out there's a movie, Sadako versus Kayako, 2016, Japanese. It's
I
subtitled.
Can't wait to look into that. All right, we got Red Face Boy again.
All right.
Who's he gonna go against this time? The suspense is killing me. And it's Pennywise.
Okay.
Both demons.
Well, if a bunch of kids can beat Pennywise, Red-Faced Demon is hands down. He's gonna fuck him.
I agree. That was fast. Let's just get rid of Pennywise. I definitely agree, though, because it would be another crazy fight like we just talked about. But
how do you scare a demon? You can't.
yeah, and also Pennywise has been beaten, and I think the red-faced demon probably has. I don't know. I just get the feeling he's probably a stronger entity than Pennywise is.
Right, and plus, I mean, even again, it goes back to like so many of these fights, the ones that can regenerate over time, right? It's a at the moment beat down. So we're not saying that he would end him forever, right? But at the same time, if he can pull a Kyoko to hell, what's to stop him from doing it to Pennywise?
Hell of a fight, though. You're gonna love this next one.
All right.
It's Chucky versus Ghostface.
Oh. Okay.
Which is funny because they're both in Dead by Daylight, and I would really like to see that happen.
I know. I'm going with Chucky.
I'm going with Ghostface. Why, you care to make your point?
No, you go ahead and make yours first.
Well, I'm just saying they're pretty. I mean, when I say evenly matched, I know that he's a doll and whatever, but they're both like resourceful and witty and kind of assholes. I love them both. I love Chucky. I know I've said that about all of them, but I said before that I used to watch that movie all the time, but it's like I just don't see Ghostface falling into the Chucky shit. I don't know. This would be a crazy fight because they'd be like running around, stabbing each other. They'd be hiding from each other and sneaking up on each other. This would be like chaos.
Right. Okay. Chucky has full strength of a grown man in that little tiny body, right?
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, he does.
No, he doesn't.
You sure?
I'm pretty sure.
All right. Okay.
Okay, you know what?
Look up.
I was wrong. You were correct.
Really?
It says Chucky has the strength and speed of a full-grown human adult. So I apologize.
Please. Well, yeah, but he's still able to be manhandled because he doesn't have the weight or mass.
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, and people have. I mean, he's just like creepy fast.
That's true, and he's small, so he can maneuver more.
Right. So I mean, how many times has he hamstrung people by hiding under a piece of furniture?
I think, you know what? I'm thinking about it more. I think this would be a very entertaining runaround kind of fight. But
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I'm leaning more towards your side now because when you get right down to it, Ghostface is just a dude, and Chucky is a supernatural entity.
He is, and I mean, I love Ghostface. Don't get me wrong, but Chucky creeps me the hell out.
Mm-hmm.
Grown ass man. I couldn't stand Cabbage Patch dolls. They creeped me out long before Chucky came along.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But Chucky is quick, but he's not faster than Ghostface, right?
And they're both pretty fast, but like I said, Chucky can maneuver a lot better because he's so small.
But if you put him in an MMA ring, right?
Mm-hmm.
And give him no knives. I mean, the most that Chucky would be able to do, maybe full strength of man, is bite an ear off or pull a finger off.
Yeah, right? But I mean, what the fuck's Ghostface gonna do? He's just gonna be beating the shit out of a doll that he's got. If you were going by your theory of them being in like just a ring, then Ghostface has nothing to end Chucky with either.
Well, yeah, I mean, he can pull that doll apart.
Yeah, but that doesn't really kill Chucky.
No, it don't kill him. But if he's just a head, a leg, and an arm and a torso laying on the ground, what's he gonna do?
But if
he'd have to possess another doll.
But if we're in the realm of them not just being in a ring, I'm on your side. I think Chucky's taking it.
Do you think Chucky's taking it?
Yeah.
I was thinking Ghostface if it was like, you
How did
know.
we just reverse? You said Chucky at first.
No, I was like, Chucky, I mean, if it was unarmed combat, he's going to lose. Give them both a butcher knife. Yeah, Chucky's quick and fast, but he is demon possessed. I mean, if we're talking who can end who permanently, Chucky's going to end Ghostface permanently
Yeah.
because he's right. But
And if he beats the shit out of that, guess what? Chucky's coming back with a vengeance with his hot wife.
there you go. So it would be a temporary victory for Ghostface at most.
Exactly. I'm back. I'm on your side, and that's hard for me, but I'm trying to be fair.
Right, right. I mean, yeah, I love your takes on it. Oh, I mean, Chucky and Bride of Chucky, his wife coming after him. I mean, and then they have kids and they come after him. It'd be like the Hatfield and McCoys versus one person. Hatfields versus McCoy. You know?
I would love to see that fight though, because I just picture them, like when they're in the school and like they're going through like the costumes and whatever, and Ghostface is hidden in there. But then imagine like Ghostface walking through that, excuse me, and Chucky's hidden in there and like trips him and just start like it's crazy.
Oh yeah, I mean, Chucky's hamstring move with the knife. I mean, you cut the Achilles tendon, your
Yeah,
ass is done, and he's
exactly.
good at it.
Yeah, I think that that he would be able to end Ghostface. Okay, so we're gonna go with Chucky, right?
Right. And plus, I mean, Chucky does have the element of fucking supernatural terror. You know, Ghostface is there with his ghost face, and then he sees a talking fucking doll.
And he's like,
One,
"What the
yeah,
fuck, bro?"
yeah. He's like, I mean, I'm sitting in a creepy shop, you know,
Oh,
with
I'm so glad we're
mannequins and
talking about this while you're alone in the creepy
stuff.
shop.
And you know, we got masks and all kinds of stuff. I'm like, if one of them just kind of turned at me and looked, I'd lose my shit, man.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's try to bust through the last ones and crown a winner.
All right,
Okay, so we got Xenomorph versus Candyman.
Candyman.
You think
Who do you
so?
think? Hmm.
I was leaning towards Candyman
Well, I
because
mean,
again, Xenomorph is a creature, but unless it's going up against a regular human, I think Xenomorph's going to have a harder time because the Candyman can do all sorts of different stuff and doesn't can avoid being hurt by stuff that would hurt normal humans.
right. I mean, he could turn into bees when the thing did it acid spit, and he can
Hmm.
go invisible. He can levitate. He can, teleport. And
Yeah,
he does have that hook. He just got to do the Xenomorph death by 1,000 cuts.
yeah, or just like slit its throat and then kind of go at it that way. But yeah, I think ultimately he would probably find a way.
Yeah.
All right, that was easy. There's one person on this that hasn't come up at all yet, and I'm very surprised. But I'm not gonna say who. All right, Chucky vs. Ooh, it's right on the line. What's it gonna be? The Candyman.
Who was it?
Candyman versus Chucky.
Okay. Yeah. I think Candyman's got this one.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Did you say that Candyman also had something to do with voodoo, or am I making that up?
What was it?
Does the Candyman also have something to do with voodoo, or am I making that up?
No, he is worshipped as a voodoo type thing in
Okay.
New Orleans.
Well, then Chucky worships voodoo idols. That's how he gets reincarnated. So I feel like the Candyman already has an edge.
Right. But he don't hurt his worshipers. So if Chucky knew, he'd just say, "Oh, I worship you."
Oh God, they would end up being friends.
Right. But if he didn't have that knowledge, I mean, can you just imagine Candyman teleporting around kicking Chucky like a soccer ball?
Yeah, I feel like the Candyman has more of a supernatural advantage than Chucky does because Chucky's whole thing is he uses voodoo to get into the doll's body. He does have, the strength and speed and whatever, but other than that, he relies on his speed and his ability to hide and blend in and stuff. But that's not gonna all those stuff's not gonna work on Candyman.
Well, I mean, like when Chucky gets totally annihilated, how does he come back into another Chucky doll? They have to have
Well,
parts of
it,
his remains and stuff, right?
well, according to the Bride of Chucky, she just gets the original, quote unquote, original doll and sews them back together and does voodoo for dummies
Okay.
and puts his soul back in there. So there, if you keep going along the movies, it kind of gets a little convoluted. Personally, I feel, but yeah, I just even if he gets brought back, I feel like Candyman could just like rip his voodoo soul out of the doll or some shit.
This is true.
I just don't feel like again if Chucky beat Candyman, I don't know. Well, he could. What was it? Smash the mirror or burn
Yeah.
the painting?
Smash mirrors and burn his portraits.
Does that get rid of him forever or just send him back to his world?
Well, it would if you burn the mirrors, it hurts him. And fire can hurt the Candyman too, right?
Okay.
But he can always be resummoned. So just like Chucky.
Hmm.
But he does have regeneration. He does have teleportation, invisibility, all that stuff. That how is Chucky gonna hit something he can't see?
Yeah, I
How's he
think
gonna stab
Candyman's taking that too.
a swarm of bees?
Exactly. He's gonna be like, "What the fuck's going on?" All right, so we're giving this one to Candyman.
Yeah, Chucky had a good run though.
Yeah, love you, Chucky, my best friend. Just kidding. Grimm's my best friend,
Oh, thank you.
right next to Chucky.
But
All right, here's
they
the
don't
one that we haven't had so far.
they don't have grim pop figures or dolls.
Oh, well,
So
we can fix that. All right, so the one we hadn't had up to this point was Michael Myers, which I couldn't believe he hadn't come up yet.
he's just chilling in the back watching everybody else die.
Yeah, and it's gonna be versus Damien from The Omen. Well,
Okay.
Michael Myers doesn't give a fuck, and he does not get intimidated. So the whole intimidation thing is not gonna work.
Right, because he's an absolute psycho.
I think he's just going to rip Damien's head off because he also has no quandaries with killing kids.
Mm-mm. Who does not?
So I think he's just gonna go up, and Damien's gonna be like either sicking animals on him or trying to intimidate him, and it's not gonna work. And Michael Myers is just going to decimate him.
Right. I mean, how do you kill somebody that really is just an animation, not really even has a soul?
Because I mean, yeah, he's a quote unquote normal dude, but it's kind of been shown he's not just a normal dude, really.
Right. I mean, look how many times, yeah. And I'm half convinced the mask, which is which is a mask of William Shatner, by the way,
Yep.
uh, is somehow supernatural.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, do you agree with? Yeah, I think he's just gonna just rip him apart, and then even the whatever's possessing Damien is just gonna be like, oh shit, maybe I
Well,
should possess this dude.
I mean, it's really I think so too. I'm along your lines
Mm-hmm.
because in the Damien the Omen movie,
Mm-hmm.
they had to have those daggers to actually kill the baby, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were going to use the daggers to kill Damien, and he was a baby. But even as a baby, shit happened to the people that were coming after him, and
Mm-hmm.
they were influenced by religion, religious beliefs, and everything else. Michael Myers doesn't have any of that shit. I mean, he's just like a blank slate with a mask.
Mm-hmm.
So here, let's see if Michael Myers does have any type of supernatural lore or weaknesses.
Also in Dead by Daylight.
Yeah. Well, you got to stay with the classics, right?
Yeah, I like Dead by Daylight. If you couldn't tell, even though I
Uh,
haven't played it for months and months. Oh, there's somebody else on the list that we haven't had yet either.
who's that?
I'm not gonna tell you.
Mm, okay. John Carpenter again. Oh, this is interesting.
Hit me with it one more time.
What was Michael Myers possessed by? Somebody tells Kara that he believes Michael was under the influence of Thorn, an ancient druid curse that drives a person to kill their family on Halloween. And
Interesting.
okay, so He kills because he is denied death and wonders if by killing he can follow them into the beyond. So he is semi supernatural, right? And what is the theory behind Michael Myers? In the thing, an extra dimensional parasite dubbed the Shape is able to make itself appear human. This theory posits that Halloween is actually a prequel to that film, The Thing, and that Michael snapped into becoming a psychopath because his body was inhabited by the Shape, The Thing.
That's pretty cool. I like that.
Wow. I love film theory.
Yeah, it's great. We'll have to dive into that one day. But I think we're kind of in agreement that Michael's probably taking it.
Yeah.
All right. Bye, Damien, the Omen. The Almond.
Because it's saying here that might have the most complicated lore and chronology of
Yeah,
any.
I could say that.
Right.
We're getting down to it now, fellas. We got 5 people left, and right now it's Michael Myers once more.
All right. Oh, and Michael Myers is also a 6-year-old boy who murdered somebody.
Yeah, that's great.
So, 6-year-old Michael versus Damien.
That's great. All right, so Michael Myers versus the Insidious Demon.
I think this demon's got this one because we've already established that he can yoink people to the other thing.
Yeah, I think so. I think he might see Michael Myers and be like, what the fuck? There's a chance that he might not even mess with him. But then imagine if he's like, whoa, if I could get into that body.
Oh, yeah.
So we're
Absolutely.
going with Mr. Insidious Demon.
Yeah.
Yay. Michael
You know,
Myers is a force to be reckoned with, though.
he is. He most definitely is. Or Jamie Lee Curtis.
I know. Yeah.
Obsession.
Obsession. All right,
She-
here we go. Here's the other one that hadn't been on here yet. Pinhead.
Ooh.
You know Pinhead.
Yeah, I do.
Cenobite.
Xenobite.
Versus our golden boy, Candyman.
Fudge.
That's rough.
It is. Now,
Uh,
Pinhead's thing is you gotta mess with a certain object,
Cube.
right? And said object introduces you to the xenomorphs, which is, basically they're in hell, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is Pinhead's abilities?
Well, isn't
You
he
know,
like a god? Well, here's what I looked up, was trying to find if you can even defeat Pinhead. Period. And here's what it says. It says defeating Pinhead typically requires a powerful holy or magical weapon, often in the form of a specifically designed device that can exploit his vulnerabilities, like the Elysium configuration, which can essentially trap and destroy him by manipulating his connection to the dimension of hell. Essentially, the only way to truly defeat him is to disrupt his ability to access his demonic powers and potentially banish him back to hell.
so this is funny that if we went by the original theory of the Saw guy,
Jigsaw.
Jigsaw, the original theory, if he could plan it out, he could have beat Pinhead,
Mm.
right?
Yeah, in theory. But
You know,
unfortunately, we didn't get that one.
I know. Okay, God, that's a hard one.
So apparently he's immortal, Pinhead, immune to pain, telepathy, teleportation, and transformation.
He's immune to all those things.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if he's immune to teleportation, Candyman loses.
Well, no, sorry, not immune. He can teleport. He has telepathy, and he can transform. He's immune to pain, and he's immortal.
Okay, pretty much the same. It's an even matchup.
I do think that Pinhead could probably take Candyman and trap him in some sort of hellish world where he is like tormented, because he's already kind of like a tormented soul, and Pinhead's kind of like a different kind of entity. I think he could probably just do whatever it is that they do when they take somebody to hell and make them into a Cenobite or whatever the hell it is that they do.
Right. Chomps. Chains.
Yeah.
I mean, but just just like Pinhead himself, you have to manipulate an object, right? And they do have worshippers.
Mm-hmm.
So does Candyman, who can be summoned. Can be summoned. Now, when you summon a demon or whatever by a worshiper, there's that obligation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm asking, couldn't just one of these worshippers just say, "Hey, Candyman, Candyman, blah blah," and boom, out of hell?
Mm, perhaps that's an interesting theory. Pinhead also is in control of the Cenobites, so he also has a shit ton of other Cenobites on his side. I don't know if that would work if he's trapped in a different dimensional area.
Right.
It's an
Okay.
interesting thought.
So, okay, so they can both teleport.
But
They
if he
can
does, I mean, if his followers can get him out of there, then Pinhead could just follow him, and then Pinhead would probably also then kill the follower because he's like, "Hey, you can't just take him out of hell."
and this is interesting. Pinhead also abides by a strict code, and if a person summons him because they were forced, he won't go after the victim.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
I'm giving it to him.
Giving it to Pinhead.
Yeah, because he's again, he controls Xenobites, and just like Dracula controls his little brides and minions. You know.
Hmm. Don't talk about me like that.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're you're a pocket-sized minion. In
Thank
the good
you.
kind. In the good kind.
Well,
Good.
we're kicking off the reigning champion Candyman in favor of Pinhead, and now we're down to three. Our three remaining combatants are Pinhead, Dracula, and the Insidious Demon or the Red-Faced Demon from Insidious. So
So
I guess let's just go for a three-way brawl here and see what happens. I think Dracula's out.
yeah, because like both the red-faced demon and Pinhead can take him to another dimension and just fuck him up.
Yeah, now Pinhead versus the Red-Faced Demon is really
Very
interesting because
hard.
they're both operating from places that are, well, for Pinhead it is hell, and for the Red-Faced Demon it's a type of hell basically. It's the astral plane. It can be different things, but his portion of it is basically hell.
Right. And I mean the like what are the chances the red-faced demon is going to be uh in possession of the box,
Mhm.
right? And Pinhead, I mean, he can just like say, I mean, he has to be summoned on the red-faced demon voluntarily, for the fight. But let's just say that all happens. I think, I mean, he would just destroy whatever manifestation the red-faced demon would take, wouldn't he?
I feel like you're right, and I feel like I feel like Pinhead could just straight up trap the demon, sadly. I feel like he could just chain him up and keep him from doing anything really.
Right. And I mean, it's a that it was a very, very, very interesting set of matchups and eliminations.
Mhm.
He's immortal, pain immunity,
Mhm.
superhuman durability, superhuman reflexes, and the red faced demon can hop from body to body, but he could never possess Pinhead.
Yeah, he wouldn't be able to possess him, and I feel like it would be a crazy fight, probably. And also, I think Pinhead's more calculated. I mean, the red-faced demon obviously is to a degree because he has to plan out how he's going to get stronger so he can get to the host. So he's cognizant, but I feel like a fight against another demon, he might just kind of go off instinct, and Pinhead's he's just gonna be able to take control of it.
Right. And I mean, just his superpowers alone, like the kinesis, where he can summon chains.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, conjuration, where they can just summon fucking explosions out of thin air.
Hmm.
At least powerful enough to destroy cars, is what it says.
I feel like my boy, the red faced demon, is just gonna become their pet, basically,
Yeah, another little red face Cenobite.
and that makes me really sad. But I really think that that's what would happen. Do you agree?
I do.
So I think we have our winner.
But it's funny, some of these matchups
Hmm.
would have went other ways. You know what I mean? Like this one's strength is different than other things that fought that had a different weakness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Pinhead's the winner on this one.
And we're going to crown our Battle Royale with Horror Icons winner as Pinhead.
Had a really good time. This has been a fun podcast.
Yeah, thank you for joining me. We had some really interesting mashups, like you said. And, the wheel was random if it had gone, different mashups when I got a different way. But I think a lot of them are really fun, and some of them were really like, I don't know who's going to take this.
Right. I really didn't either. I mean, I didn't even know half the combatants. I didn't know we were doing this. So
Yeah,
it was
this
a
was a
fun night.
surprise, and I hope you had fun. Did you have
I,
fun?
I had a lot of fun. This
Me
was
too.
deep thinking and probably wrong thinking on every corner. I expect to be put in my place by somebody at some.
No, you know what? We had fun, and we we did our research, and we came to a conclusion. We mapped out a conclusion. Like I said, it's all for fun.
It
We
is.
definitely love to hear other people's thoughts on these and who else we should put in the wheel, because I'd love to do this again and love to hear other people's thoughts on it.
Right. And, I was rooting for Red Faced Demon too.
Me too, but like I said, I'm biased. I've often thought that Pinhead was really, really hard to beat. I've thought about that before since they put him in Dead by Daylight.
And to be fair, when I first saw the movie, I was terrified of those fucking chains and hooks.
I'm still fucking scared of Pinhead, dude. There's literally nothing you can do if he shows up. You're just fucked.
Right. So let's not make anyone mad out there who has one of those boxes.
Oh, my dad has one of those.
I can make them.
I'll
And
take 10.
plus, yeah, I had a little bias because I bought you the little pop figure. So
Yeah, and also because I never shut up about Insidious, so I assume that kind of infested your brain a little bit.
well, yeah, to be totally honest and fair, you talk about so many horror movies that I'm just like dodging bullets, going, "Oh, okay." Yeah, she loves Chucky because you got the Chucky dolls and that kind of stuff, and you got ghost face posters, and you got red
Wow,
face demon. So I
shots
mean,
fired.
no, no, no. It's in a good way. You are a true horror fan.
Well, thank you.
I mean,
I
to the
think I'm
core.
just autistic.
Well, I can draw pictures too.
Jesus Christ. All right, we're going to end this here because it's almost 3 o'clock in the morning. I hope everybody enjoyed it. And we have to go return some videotapes.